Hey guys, it's me and Leia. Oh my gosh, you guys haven't met Leia on this channel yet. This is my kitty cat, Lele. She's named Princess Leia after the Star Wars character because my other cat's name is Obi-Wan Kenobi. But we're sitting here at my bookshelf, and I know this is a little bit late, but we are going to be filming of what I read in April. So these right here are all the books that I read in April. So I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I also am listening to an audiobook that I haven't even finished yet. But yeah, this is gonna be what I read in April. Did I even do an introduction? Hey everyone, it's Asha, and welcome back to Reading with Asha. I mean, when you read, you're like going into a whole different world. So now that that happened, let's get into what I actually read this month. Hopefully this is a good angle. The first book that I read is right here. This is The Vixen Who Loved Me, which is Bridgerton book 2. So I read this at the beginning of the month when Bridgerton season 2 came out because I felt like, if you guys have watched Bridgerton, season 1, they gave us so much of the after parts of Daphne and Simon being married, and I feel like in season 2 we just got 10 minutes of Kate and Anthony being married. So I didn't really love that, so I read this to kind of get more. And the story of this is like completely different than in the movie, and I'm not gonna, or not the movie, this show. And I'm not gonna say exactly what happens because that would spoil it, but I do really like this book. I think I liked it maybe a little more than season 2, because if they would have incorporated more of like what actually happened in here, I think it would have been way more interesting. But I get like you gotta do what you gotta do, and I still love season 2. So I wanted to say that. But this is the first book I read, and I actually read it, I listened to it on the airplane on the way to Las Vegas. So I didn't really mention, but if you guys like enemies to lovers or Regency area romance, that type of thing, like princessy type of thing, like if you like the selection, you would probably really like this. But I actually got recommended the selection after watching Bridgerton, and I love that too. But this is a lot more adult and not as young adult. This is way more spicy, if that makes sense. So I really like this. I gave it a 3.5 stars, so I guess it's not, it doesn't seem like I really liked it, but I did like it. I didn't like hate it or anything like that, and I would recommend it if you like that type of thing. I think I just read it for more, and I did get more. The next book, I had a really good reading month this month, I feel like. So the next book that I read this month was, ta-da! The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. You guys, I absolutely love this book. So I got this for Christmas because I saw it recommended by Steph Borer like a while ago, and I added it to my TBR, but I never really went in to read it, I guess. But I got it for Christmas, and then Haley Pham was hyping it up too, and I was like, okay, I need to read this. So I brought this to Las Vegas with me. I was like reading it by the pool, which was just the perfect way to read this book. It was just so good, and I think that made it 10 times better for me. I absolutely love this book. It is YA, so if you don't like immature type of romance type of thing, I think maybe you wouldn't love this as much, but I loved everything about it. So basically, this is about a girl. Her name is Meredith. She goes to this vineyard, Martha's Vineyard, I think it's called, every single summer. But it's her first summer going without her sister Claire, who passed away a year before, I believe, or 2 years before. So this year she finally went back because it was her cousin Sarah's wedding. So there's a ton of people there, all of Sarah's bridesmaids and just their whole entire family. Like, they have a bunch of different houses. It was kind of set up almost like the We Were Liars island vibe. Like, they all have different house cabin type things, but it was way better than We Were Liars, trust me. I did not love We Were Liars. They played this huge game of assassin, which if you don't know what that is, you basically get like a little slip of someone's name, and you have to kill that person. Then you, well, not really kill them, but you shoot them with a water gun. That's what they did in the book. And then once you kill them, you get the person that they had until there's just a showdown, basically. It was hard to play it because her sister Claire was always the champion, and she was like her best friend and everything. But while she's here, she meets this boy. His name is Whit. He's one of the groomsmen, and actually the groom's stepbrother, I believe. I can't quite remember exactly, but either way, I loved his character. They basically formed this little alliance for this assassin game and just formed this really cute, adorable romance. and it's just the whole scenery of it and everything, the family aspect, like it just makes everything so good. I didn't know if I was gonna love this book because I don't really care about like games like Assassin during a book, but I just think everything else brought it together and made it so good. So I totally recommend this book if you guys like a cute little summery romance. It also holds a lot of meaning, and if you are sensitive to subjects like grief, maybe don't read this because her sister did pass away, so she's going through grief and whatnot. For every single book that I talk about, make sure you check the trigger warnings before you read them, because there's trigger warnings with every single book, like regardless of if it's a YA book or whatever. So just be careful with that. But I love this book so much. And the cover is just so cute, and it's one of those like matte covers. I just love it. Like I want to put this on display in this room and hang it on the wall. The next book I read is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and this is a very popular book as well. I read this a couple videos back for my swapping my screen time with reading time video. If you guys didn't go check that out, make sure you go check that out after you watch this one. But I also really like this book. I believe I gave it a 4 stars. It wasn't my favorite thing ever, but I did think it was pretty cute, and like I really like the male character in this book as well, Adam. So this is about a girl, her name's Olive. She's a PhD candidate, so she doesn't really care about love or make time for love because she just doesn't think she has any time for it. But her best friend wants to date like her ex kind of type of thing, but she feels like she won't date him because she thinks that Olive still has something for him when she doesn't, so she tries to prove that she's dating someone else even though she's really not. Olive's best friend shows up and she kisses the guy who's closest to her, who actually ends up being Adam Carlson. And this is someone she works with, and he is kind of a more authoritative figure in the book, and he is a huge jerk to other people, like constantly putting them down for their work and different stuff. So she's like, crap. So basically they end up doing this whole entire fake dating thing. You know how that goes. She's very surprised by the way that he acts, and like he has really good character development, different stuff like that. So I thought this was a super cute, fun little romance if that's what you're into. And I think the cover is so cute, like very Bookstagram worthy. So the next book I read is It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han. This was also a part of my swapping my phone screen time for reading time videos. If you guys didn't see that, I already said it, but you know what to do. So basically, this is the second book in the Summer I Turn Pretty series, and I didn't love this book. I feel like it was my least favorite, I would say, out of the 3 books. Just because of like the back and forth aspect. Yeah, but I will say that this book does touch on grief a lot, and I can't exactly say why because I would expose things, but it's pretty sad. I feel like I got a little bit teary at some points. The best part about these books, I think, and I think why everyone likes them so much, is the summer house aspect with romance. That is just such a good story and everything, and everyone loves that, and it's a summery type of book, perfect for like the beach. But yeah, I did not love this book. It was not my favorite ever. I feel like I gave it like a 3 stars, I think, out of 5. So right after that, I read the next book, which is We'll Always Have Summer, and I think that this was my favorite book out of this series, and I gave this a 4 stars because I thought that this was probably the most interesting book. I read the very first book back in summer, which was like a really long time ago to now, like months and months ago. So obviously I wasn't super excited to go ahead and read the rest of the series based off of that book. But I think it ended on a very good note because you really get a book series where the rest of the books are better than the first one. So I really liked this one, and I thought it was very interesting. It's very back and forth. If that kind of annoys you, then maybe you wouldn't like it. But the characters did get some development, good development, and it wasn't like terrible choices going on the whole entire time. But you're gonna open the first page of this book after you read the series, and you're gonna be like, okay, what is going on? Wait, what's going on? That's what you're gonna be like. Next book we read this month, or I read this month, was Without Merit by Colleen Hoover. So obviously, Colleen Hoover, she hits a lot. There's only like 2 times that her books have missed for me. But Without Merit, this is very underrated, I would say. Also, trigger warnings for this book. All Colleen Hoover books, trigger warnings, because they deal with some sensitive topics, but they're very meaningful and always have like really good messages, if that makes sense. I really like this book. It was so interesting. It's about this girl, her name is Merit, and she lives in a church, and her dad's an atheist. So yeah, her family is super unusual, as you could tell from what I just said. But also her dad lives in this house with his new wife while her mom lives in the basement. So like his ex-wife lives in the basement, and then her brother and her twin sister live there as well. And then she has like a younger brother, which is from her dad's new wife. I'm so sorry, this is very confusing. The book starts off with Merritt meeting this guy named Sajin when she's going to get these trophies. She gets trophies every single time something like negative happens in her life. So she gets a trophy for the moment, I guess. I don't really understand that aspect. But she meets Sajin and he just kisses her. And she's like, what the heck? He's so perfect and all this stuff. Until she finds out that he kissed her because he thought that she was her twin sister. Then Sajin basically lives with them, so this makes it way more awkward because she's like, oh my god, did I just kiss my twin sister's new boyfriend and all this stuff, and she like really liked it and she has like a huge crush on him, so things are just getting super complicated. It's very complicated. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in this book, but I think the best part is that it talks a lot about mental health and the importance of mental health. So I really, really enjoyed the overall message that this book gave out, and yeah, I gave it a 5 stars. 5-star read, so that was really good. Okay, I just realized that I kind of have like a lot of 5-star reads this month. I have one more book, which was Tell Me 3 Things, and I picked this up at Books A Million in my book shopping vlog a couple of videos ago. It's called Tell Me 3 Things. It was only $6.99 on sale, and I was like, okay, I love a good cutesy little YA romance, because who doesn't? Sometimes I feel like I prefer a YA romance over a actual adult romance because it's just so much more cute, and I just ended up really liking. I love this book, and I didn't even love it for like the plot or what happened. Also, it's a very floppy book. This is about a girl, her name is Jessie, and she's forced to move from Chicago to LA and go to this super rich preppy school because her dad basically just married this other woman after her mom passed away, which was like really shocking and crazy for her to find out, but she ends up moving there. Everything was going to crap until this person named SN starts texting her. Basically this person, SN, which means somebody / nobody, so they wouldn't ever reveal who they were until like the very end of the book. But yeah, they start texting her and giving her these hints of who to be friends with and who to stay away from at this school. She basically navigates this new school while also navigating the grief of losing her mother and like having to move in with a whole new family and a whole new stepmom that she doesn't really even know. The stepmom that she lives with also has a son who isn't particularly nice to her at the beginning either. It's this whole entire process of her just kind of going through things and figuring it out, but she also meets kind of a love interest in this book as well. And then she's also just trying to figure out who this SN is because she has so many predictions about who it could be, and she has so many different ideas, but it's never who she thinks it is until the very end. And I felt like it was very predictable. Like I knew who it was pretty much the entire time, but it was still so fun to read, and that's so good about a book when you're not sitting and waiting for a plot twist or something because it's boring. It was just so fun and easy to read, and it's a pretty small book too, so I read this pretty fast. I thought it was so cute. If you like YA romance, you would probably really like this, and I rated this 5 stars, which I'm pretty sure I already said. But I definitely want to look more into this author and see if she has any other cute YA romances, which it kind of looks like she does on the back of this book. But yeah, I really ended up liking this one too. Been loving YA romance recently, and I think that's because Haley Pham kind of inspired me. But yeah, that is going to be it for what I read in April. I felt like it was a pretty good reading month, and I'm looking forward to the books that I'm reading in May. You guys are going to be very excited about them, and I have a really exciting reading vlog coming up soon of a very popular fantasy series, and it's just the first book in the series, but you guys are going to be excited to hear my thoughts and opinions on this book. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, still give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys, love you.